Hey everybody, I think we're live. Before I start, just so you know, we've got some shaky internet happening. I don't know what's going on. One thing says we have full bars, and every once in a while, so maybe StreamYard. But welcome. We really missed you guys last week. It felt a little weird not to have an industry night, but also grateful because we were able to put together all of our new program components. If you're just joining us, because we do have people that are in our programs and people that aren't, my name is Andy Barney, and I've been a sewing machine service tech for 15 years. We closed our shop in 2022 to teach full time. This is Paul, who is over here monitoring the chat. And this is a little bit different because we did not realize the effect that our program would have on you guys. So first of all, thank you all so much for your support and for your cheerleading and all of your feedback that you gave us since our last session. That has really turned a corner for us on a program that we really, really wanted to make happen. And we always kind of felt like the time would present itself when it was time to make it happen. And apparently time is now. So this is going to be a little different because we are launching this as a full program. I do have slides because if you know me at all, I will go off the rails and just talk forever on many tangents. So it's a bit of a wall of words, but I do want to make sure I get all the information there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. As a reminder, Paul is monitoring the chat on both YouTube and Facebook. So feel free to drop any questions or comments in there as we go through the program. I think probably on every slide, I'll stop and ask if there's any questions because there is a lot in there. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to do this right today. All right. All right. So we are actually calling this, at least for now, our Sewing Doc Academy Business School. And as my tagline conveys there, this is kind of the program that's meant to take you from saving money by coming into our program, learning to take care of your machines yourself and service them like a professional, and then moving into making money if you choose to. And the reason that we will include, and I'll go over this, why we do include people that are not currently in our service programs is a couple of reasons. One, as most of you probably know, most of my marketing is geared towards people that have sewing machines and sew. So that means the home sewists, not people that are aspiring to be technicians, because that's not really much of a thing yet, or current technicians. That's just not how we do things. But I don't think people also understand how seamless it can be to start earning money for your services, whether it's really tiny, small scale, people in your community, or building a full-time business. So that's kind of why we have our saving money to make money here. The purpose of this program is not a lot different than our industry night. This is just going to be much more refined and streamlined and with some actual process to it. Number one, we want to help you determine if starting a business is right for you and help you have support when making this decision. As I've said in all my posts talking about this program, no one that I've tried to dig through everything, no one's talking about any of this, no one's doing any of this. And I think that's because there's really not been any avenues to start a business or work in this realm anyway. We want to help you lay out the process so you can decide when the time is right to transition from a hobby to an income, to guide you step by step through the process with both the business aspect and the service training that you need. So in short, this is basically going to combine both worlds for you guys. We want to help you offer as many resources as possible so that we can reduce the amount of work on your end, to be a support for others in the program, and for all of us to be supported. As you're in our Vintage Sewing Machine Mastery Extra program, you already know that that's always been one of our big goals of all of our programs, is to not only be able to be supported by others, but also to offer support. To help you keep going when you're tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. I wish I could tell you it was always easy peasy, but as most of you probably know, anytime you start moving into these bigger endeavors, there's a lot of work to be done in the beginning, and it does get tiring, and I want to be able to help you with that. And basically, I've always wanted to be able to give everything that I wish I had when I started my business, but didn't have. So if you know my history, I was trained by two elderly retired technicians a little over 15 years ago. They were very, very good to me, taught me most of my service skills and all my foundation, but they were older, and business has changed a lot from now than it was back in the 60s when they were in their prime. And they weren't able to support me much on this part. And when I started my business, it wasn't really intentional. I just through my community, there was so much demand, people finding out I was working on treadles and learning this business, that it literally turned into a business overnight. So I spent my first 6 years trying to understand how business works. So basically, I want to include all the things I can in here that I wish I would have had. Do I have any questions already?
Not yet.
Okay.
There was one and then it got deleted. So.
Okay, cool. All right. So we do encourage you, if any of you are joining us that is not already in our programs, we do encourage you to join this one before you commit if you think you're even remotely interested in business. Because again, it's going to help you determine if your location, your time, and your lifestyle are going to be a good fit for investing time and money into a business. More than anything, I don't think I've really seen this, maybe in some groups, Facebook groups, where people have like done a few things and thought, yeah, this would be great. And then dive in and spend all this money on, forming their business and getting their tax license and all this, and then just get stuck. And we don't want that to happen. This is going to be the cheapest investment you can make to decide if this business is not for you. So you'll know that before you even begin. I'm going to be fully transparent. If you haven't seen my post, we're asking for $7 a month. And also, thank you for all of you that did complete our survey. I had a huge bump this morning or yesterday of people. We had 72. Did I tell you that? We had 72 replies. And of those, 70 of you said, yes, we would pay a small fee to be in this group. And the comments, all of the feedback you gave us has been amazing. And a lot of that feedback is coming into play into this program. So this will help you understand the different types of business models and which one might be the best fit for you, to acclimate yourself to the possibilities. That I really struggle with how to word that, because again, I feel like this is something when people hear you say, start a business, sounds very big and overwhelming, especially if you've never worked in your own business before. This is my first business, I guess, my little Etsy shop kind of. I did start with a little Etsy shop to sell some fabric back in, I don't know, 2010, 2009, somewhere around there, just to dabble. But I think that hearing that, if you've never done that, sounds like this really big thing. And it kind of is. It is a big deal. I'll never forget the day that that I submitted my business to the state of Georgia to become a business, and it felt like such a big deal. But I want you to be able to acclimate yourself to what it would look like and hear some stories from other people so that you realize that you too can do this if you want to. To do some legwork before you launch into anything. Again, I had to go blindly at this, and it was very stressful because I didn't have a guide. I had to rely on what government pages were telling me to do, and that was really horrible. To have support when you decide to make the transition from hobby to business. Well, that's my last one on that page. Sorry, these are new slides for me. I usually am well prepared, but we've not really had to do this before. All right, so let's talk about what's going to be inside. We're going to have, of course, a ton of checklists and resources. So things to do before you start your business, determining the best model. That's a lot what's going to be going in there for next week, is just those things for you to examine, things to look at, things to consider. We'll have some checklists and a little bit of homework to do in that. Income expectations. So matching your work hours, how much time you can afford to put into your business, how much revenue you're needing. A lot of people I'm getting emails from are saying, this is going to be great for me because I know I like working on machines, and we're coming up a little bit short because everything is so expensive right now. And I'll be honest with you, that's one reason we push to start moving in the direction of this program, is that I hear from you guys all the time how difficult it is to make ends meet. I mean, we were just talking to our best friends the other day that all of us have had a slight income increase, and it seems like we can't make ends meet anymore. So if we can even get you to the point where you are lessening that gap in income would be great. Different phases of service fees based on your experience. So, when you start out, we do recommend a lot of volunteer work, but at some point you do need to start charging for your services and do it fairly as you increase your skills. How to start? Combining your service training with earning income early on. I have a very specific plan laid out that I've been working on for probably 5 years now. I started taking notes years ago on all the things I did and wish I would have done, and did some research. So we do have an entire plan on how to start going, get your experience going, and you can still do your training while you're earning some income. Marketing, getting the word out, finding customers, that's always going to be an overarching theme in this program. I think it's the thing that gives people the most anxiety is like, well, what if I can't find any customers? I promise you, if you probably remember in week 1 or 2, we talked about how we set up shop 3 miles, I think 4 miles from the most legendary service tech in all of Atlanta. He's 4th generation, wonderful and knows what he's doing, still worked on vintage machines, and we never had an issue finding customers. So there are some extremely rural areas that it's a benefit to be rural, and sometimes it's not. So we'll work through those factors with you. Helping with marketing materials. I'm lucky enough that I have a 30-something year career in graphics. So all of my marketing materials I do myself, and we'll be able to help with guidance with that as well. Forms, procedures, invoicing, accepting payments. So your intake forms, like we talked about in our last session, what an invoice can look like, very easy systems to set up. Inventory systems, meaning when you start taking in customers' machines, you have to be able to track every one of them in detail, make sure that you're tagging them. We have entire systems set up for you to work with whatever your situation is, keeping track of them, not losing them. We don't want to lose machines. Warranties, disclaimers, bench fees, turnaround times, storage fees. I think it was our last session that we talked about when you have to start charging storage fees and abandoned machines. So just like we went through that 2 weeks ago, those are the kinds of things that we'll include in here. Expanding your business when the time is right and how to do it. Honestly, what I love about this business though is that it almost expands for you. So once you start getting that ball rolling, it may take a little bit to get there, but once it goes, this is very much a word of mouth business. Special touches to create customer connections. I discovered long ago the thing that made me so valuable compared to that 4th generation technician in our big city there is that I was just warm and kind. He was not necessarily rude or mean, but there was just like no, I don't know. I had my machine service for him years before I started. And I just felt like everybody was so cold and just there was no information. Nobody taught you anything on how to do better with your machine. So we put together a good package of things that you can do that will make it a memorable experience. Because if you've had your machine service, nobody likes doing this. Nobody wants to give up their machine. Nobody wants anybody else handling their machine. But if you can make it a memorable experience, that changes everything. And one of the rules that my partner and I, when we owned a quilt shop, lived by is that people will probably not remember the machine service, but they will remember how they felt with you. And that is definitely a cornerstone of how we built our business. Do I have any questions before I get too far?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay.
So,
I
don't know if you want to get
just so we're clear, this is definitely a different session tonight. I'm sorry, I should have said that in the beginning. We are getting ready to open the door. Tonight we're going to do enrollment. We'll start enrollment tonight. So, we're not going to do our typical industry night tonight because we are rolling out this program, but just so you know, I'm going to cover this too, but when we open these doors and you get into the program, you can immediately start posting questions in the group so that you can get whatever questions you need answered right away. All right. So, and then parts and supplies and wholesale counts, keeping costs low. That's a frequently asked question of like, what kind of parts should I keep stocked? How do, consumables work versus parts that you have to charge for, that kind of thing. And always, everything that we do is about keeping your costs low and your profit margin high. I do want to mention this too. I'm not an attorney and I'm not an accountant. I'm barely qualified enough to do those things for myself. And I've kind of had to because that's just what we've had to do. But we will touch on any of those things as far as business setup goes, insurance, taxes, and licensing. But when it comes to what you need to do in your own state, county, city, HOA, all of those things are going to have to be legwork that you do. I can give you the checklist, I can give you all the things, and I can kind of help you decipher things. But when it comes to any of those organization, actual legal things, I'm not going to be able to do that. You don't want me to do that either, because you'll probably end up in some kind of trouble, to be honest with you. Not my forte. All right. So as far as the program, like I said, it is a $7 program, but we have a couple options. And this is based on what all of you gave us in the feedback when we asked for it. Again, thank you for that because it made it very easy. So no matter which option you pick, you're automatically going to get 30 days free. As all of you know, I don't like to charge you guys for things that you don't want or need, but I also feel like you should get a chance to see if this is even something that you want to pursue. So when you go and sign up, you're automatically going to get 30 days free. As long as you cancel before the end of those 30 days, you won't be charged. So you can have an option of paying $7 a month, and that's billed every month until you cancel. We have an option for $18, which will be billed every 3 months, so basically quarterly. That does save you $3. We have $35 billed every 6 months until canceled, which saves you a full month. And then we have a full year at $70, and we're going to turn off the automatic renewal on those only because, well, one, we don't know what the program's going to look like in a year, but also I don't want that to accidentally roll over and charge you for a second year if you don't need it. And that does save you 2 months. In addition to that, we do have some incentives for you 1-year subscribers. We are going to offer, and also if Tom is on, thank you, Tom. We had a nice email conversation. Tom is actually in Cumming, Georgia, where our shop used to be. And he and his wife are aggressively learning machine skills to fill in a gigantic gap that we left in Cumming. And I'm grateful for that. He is good friends with the people at Threadbare that we were good friends next door to us. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to work something out with them. But he suggested that because we are going to build a certification program, but that's a little ways off, that there would be a way to identify that they are at least getting some type of professional training from somebody. So he suggested that we do a decal that says something like Sewing Doc Academy member or something of that sort. So we're definitely going to put a window cling together and stickers and all kinds of options. We have other stickers. We will send you a free pack of all of those things once we have them ready. That's something I'm going to work on next week. We're also going to offer you a free custom marketing piece. So I have a 1/4-page flyer that I've been using for so many years. It's very simple, but it's very custom to what you would need. I'm happy to do one of those for you. If you need a logo, I can do that. A digital flyer, I can't do like an entire website or anything like that, but we have a lot of options. We will offer you a marketing piece, and we will give you a free one-on-one consultation so that whether you want to talk about just kind of, if you've been thinking about it for a while and you just want to run over what your plans are, talk about, the area that you live in, figure out what's going to be the best for your lifestyle, whatever you want to use that for, we're going to offer you a 30-minute consultation whenever you choose to use it. Do I have any questions yet before I go on?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to answer any of these
Okay.
at the moment. So on business cards, would it be better to refer to my services as maintenance or service?
Yeah, that's something that those are things that we will definitely talk about in the group because it's kind of weird. The service and maintenance thing is getting more and more weird. I tend to use the term maintenance when we're talking about our current program. So basically opening them up, doing cleaning and lubrication. I tend to use the word service more when we're including timing adjustments. But if you watched in the first week or two, I do talk about how very small number of machines actually need timing adjustments. So I think that's going to be a personal preference. There's going to be a lot of education that happens with your customer because there's a lot of communities that haven't had machine service for a while. Now we're bringing in a new crop of sewists that are younger that don't even know their machine needs to be serviced. So they're not going to know what those terms are. So those are probably some things we'll have to sort out together. And we're also going to do occasionally, probably drawing at least once a month where we're going to do giveaways inside the group. We're going to, in case you didn't know our history, Paul and I in a previous life I just say Paul got the garage cleaned out after 8 months. All of the cardboard from our move is gone. And we moved the car into the garage and we have our lasers available now. So we have an industrial laser and we used to do laser products. We have sublimation and we have vinyl. We stopped our business because Sewing Doc Academy and Sewing Doc took over, COVID happened. And to be honest with you, we're aware that people can go to, Michael's and invest $2,000 and do the exact same thing we did. But we do have tons of product left and we're probably going to replenish it, but we're going to offer both Sewing Doc branded things. And whenever you build your brand and you have a logo, we're happy to put your logo and your information on things. Paul's got a selection of things we're going to show when we close the slides because I don't want to show you in this little tiny window. But we are going to do a monthly drawing to give away some of those things, again, either with our branding or yours on it. So how this is going to work, because this is going to be a severe shift from anything we've done before. This is going to be a virtual program like everything else, but we are going to host it inside of a private Facebook group, at least for now. So we may change and expand our access options, but we really, at $7 a month for all of you, we need to keep it within our financial capability to start this program. It's going to, most of us, I think we found most of you on Facebook anyway, so I don't think that should be a big deal. If you want to use an alias because you hate social media, totally fine. We do have a large number of people that already do that in our programs, and we will honor that, but we are going to host it inside of a Facebook group for now. So everything will be in one place and very easy to find. And we also including people that are not in our other programs, so I don't want to put it on our teaching platform. Every Monday, one or more new lessons are going to be added to the group, including the resources and the documents, all the supporting things that go with it. So for instance, if we would have taken what we did in our last session and did a big thing about, abandoned machines, we'll put all of that in there. There will be a video recording. There will be some probably translated to text also. And then we'll add like the forms, the letter that I used to send out to tell people we're about to start charging you storage fees, come pick up your machine. All of those documents are going to be in there, and it's going to be perpetual. So if you've ever been in a Facebook group that uses the guides section, it's basically going to allow me to section out every single lesson into a guide that's going to live there forever. So even if somebody comes along in 6 months and joins us, they can start at the beginning and work their way through. Now, next week, I'm probably not going to have everything there on Monday. It's going to take us some time to sort that out, but we will be dripping things in all week next week. The lessons are going to combine both of the business aspect and integrating it with your machine service skills. So what that means is that each week it's going to talk about the things you should be doing to grow on your skill side, but also the things that you need to be doing to make progress on the business side. I'm going to give homework, and that doesn't mean that we're monitoring you anyway. I'm not going to use a red ink pen to mark up anybody's homework, but that's all for you to do as you choose. But I think it's good to have some achievable tasks to do to help move you along. I'm really shocked and pleased to see how many people said the word accountability or, direction and things like that. So we will be happy to provide those kinds of things for you. And along those lines, we are going to do an accountability post each Monday morning, not mandatory. What we're going to do is ask you basically, what are the things that you would like to accomplish this week, whether it's on the service side or the business side. Whether that means, I know that some of you, I think Allison's probably on. You've been saying you'll be on all day, Allison. Allison, you originally told me she was going to carve out a couple hours each day just to be able to focus on her learning. So we will be happy to do that with you as well. But we are going to put a post up. You can go ahead and comment on there and maybe hold yourself accountable and say, these are the things I'm going to do. And then again on Sunday, we're going to do another post to let you check in if you want to let us know your progress. Remember, this is a very safe group. Nobody's going to judge you or chastise you because you decided to, spend a day, the weekend with your family instead of hammering away at machines or anything like that. I will be putting my own accountability things in there. While they may not match the goals in this group, I think it's fair to be transparent. A lot of my homework is doing homework for this group, and I'm going to miss the mark sometimes. So I will be participating in the accountability posts. I probably should get Paul to do the same.
But no.
Yeah. And then we're still going to host industry night every Friday night, just like we are now. We're going to recap the lesson a little bit. We'll give you a chance to ask questions, further the discussion, and then we'll, like all of our other programs, we'll even take questions about other things. We're also going to have occasional special guests on. There's a handful of people in the group that have a head start on their business already. Spike has already agreed to come on and talk to you all about his journey. Amy Winstead also, probably Casey. I can name a bunch of you to be really happy to come on, but we're also going to get Bob Fowler to come on to talk about his journey. I'm hoping to get, who am I trying to get on? I'm actually trying to get the Blue Creeper people to come on to talk about how Scott Kennedy helped them develop the sewing machine oil that they do for us. And Elizabeth Garr, we talked about that last week, to come in and talk about trade work and copyright. So we will have guests on as well. And the group, of course, is going to be like any other Facebook group. It's going to be available 24/7. That way you have access to all the material, and it's going to be a place for you to ask questions. I don't expect for you to all to sit here and wait for us to roll out all of our material. I am working on this very aggressively, and I hope that we would have everything in my immediate plans done within the next 4 to 6 months, and then spend the rest of the year refining it and adding to it, improving it. But when something comes up, like if you're already at the stage and you're starting to take in machines and you want to know, I think someone's asking about insurance, then, and house calls and all those things, we have a place for you to ask questions and get help. And you can also get input from the people that have already been doing those things. So that's one thing we love about our groups, is it's not just Paul and I. You're going to get feedback from other people in the group. And I will say this over and over again, this group is designed for all of us to support each other and to be supported. I still can't believe all of you that have built these programs for us, because never in our wildest dreams did we think it would be this amazing, honestly. All right, so this is different than business tools. I have a feeling this is going to come up because for those of you that are enrolled like in the full maintenance program, we do offer the business tools program. But the purpose of that one is that it was really just a place for me to put various notes, forms, tools. It does not include any formal type of teaching. It was never meant to be, and that's not going to change. I am planning on still making some improvement to it and adding some holes, but it was never meant to be a full-scale program because we had these bigger plans. This program, which is business school, does have actual lessons in it and actual guidance throughout, depending on, the topic. Once this is completed, once we get through this first year, anybody that has their membership is still going to have access to it. But what you're doing, so to give you a perspective, once this is fully built and has all of our videos in it, all of our curriculum and everything else in it, we are turning that into a full-scale program. And that's going to be probably a $200 to $400 one-time fee program. So for $70 for an entire year, you're getting the $200 to $400 program in a nutshell. And you're also helping us build an amazing program because we rely on you with real life experience to tell us this is what we need. And that's what you've been doing already. So then in late 2024 and into 2025, we're going to begin offering a full mentorship program for those of you that want ongoing assistance and immediate help. So if you're in Remove Your Covers or Vintage Sewing Machine Mastery, we do help you indefinitely. You can post a question in there. You get help from your peers. You get help from us, but it may be a couple hours later. It may be a day later. It may be 3 or 4 days later, depending on our schedule. It's usually not immediate. In this mentorship program, this is meant for those of you that know without a doubt that you want to build a full-scale program that are going to rely on faster help. So that means what we envision is that we have a couple portals for you to reach us. If you reach out to us and you're a member of that program and say, I have this customer's machine, I really don't know what to do here, we would like to be in touch with you within an hour, either through messaging or through a Zoom call to be able to help you with that machine. So that time is money, and we know that. That is probably going to be between $100 and $200 a month because of the immediate access. We're also going to do the same thing for a business. So it'll be all combined into one, whether you're needing guidance on your business part or the service part will be combined into that mentorship program. So what this whole program, I talked about, this is my plans, and I've got pages here that I've been working on for years of putting together notes. And I built what I thought were stages of business that you kind of navigate through as you go through this process. Some of you are going to go through this stages of business really fast. And some of you are going to take some time and let it be like a slow burn where you have to really examine everything, get your skills under you, and decide where you want to go with this. So I'm going to go through just the very bare minimum because I could talk to you for probably 3 days about the stages of business.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, we're not. So stage number 1 is the exploration stage. This is going to apply to almost all of you as you come in and you first learn to take care of your own machines. Again, we do market to people that use their machines for home business. It's always our number 1 goal, but we do always hope for those of you that enjoy it, you will consider other avenues, whether it's for volunteer work or building your own business. Our communities are in dire need of people to handle machines. And that's why you are Sewing Machine Heroes right here. It's going to give you the tools to explore the business options that fit your lifestyle. By lifestyle, I mean some of you are stay-at-home moms and have time but also have kids. Some of you work full-time jobs and are weekend warriors. Some of you are aggressively moving towards retirement, but also worried about your income. So we want to be able to help you decide how many hours you have to devote, what type of revenue you need, and figure out how to make those meet up. And this is going to allow you time to get answers and formulate a plan before you launch into anything and make a lot of costly mistakes. I've seen it a few times, even in the very beginning of our academy, where people got very gung-ho and kind of went out and did everything and then lost their fizzle because it's too much. Stage 2 is our hands-on, well, that's a good typo there, a hands-on experience. Sorry about that. So we're going to recommend that when you've decided and know that you want to move into some type of business, that you start to move into this pretty quickly, because we don't want you to spend too much time without revenue. In fact, Allison just commented, I think, on the post in one of the groups saying that she's happy to report that she just made back any investment she made in our programs at the beginning of this month through sewing machine fees. And that's kind of what we want to do, is be able to help you charge enough fees while you're getting started to maybe pay for the cost of your upstart. It's not an expensive endeavor to start, but you got to pay the state, you got to pay, for all those licensings and things, and your tools and your products and all those kinds of things. We like to be able to lessen the pain of investing in that as much as possible. So this is going to give you the initial steps to start the foundation of your business while you're increasing your skills and your knowledge. I remember, I think it was in my, maybe it was last month, somebody commented and thanked us for this and said, I didn't know this was possible, because when I approached my local dealer and said, I would really like to work for you guys, would you be able to train me? I'll do anything. And they kind of laughed at her and said, it's going to take you 10 years to master any of this. Well, as we've proven in this program, you don't have to be a master to start doing this. So growing your skills is something that you're going to be doing for years, but that doesn't mean that you have to wait until you have 3, 4, 5 years of training before you start doing that. I sure as heck didn't. I think within the first month, I started getting jobs in because people found out what I was doing. We're going to help you research all the necessary steps and components of business requirements. Like I said, I can't really advise you on things, but I can help you with a checklist of things and remind you that you need to check from all the way from your HOA all the way through your state, which does not make it easy. We are in the process of moving our business from Georgia to Missouri, and we've been here 8 months, and I'm still trying to get my license. We have to wait for that stupid marriage certificate to get here. And then I have to try and transfer everything over. But the regulations here in in Missouri are so much more stringent than they were in Georgia. And, taxes are different in every state. So we're going to at least be able to guide you on the things that you need to check so you don't miss any of those. Stage number 3 is growth. And then this stage, this is where if you're not already charging for your services, you will start to already. You'll start branching out to provide education to your community. That does not mean I expect you to do everything that I did, but a lot of you talked about wanting to do lectures in the Quilt Guild like I did, to be able to do really cool events, to do, demonstrate how to work on treadle machines, sew on them during events, ways to get your name out and being helpful to your community. We do advise you to do a lot of volunteer work, or as much as you can in the beginning. And that's because, for one, it's of great benefit to your community. 2, it's going to put you in contact with people that can help maybe push you along. You're going to meet somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. I'd not be here if it were not for my community. And I did not know a whole lot of people. I just discovered what a quilt guild was when I started this business and started getting into it. And it was, being in that community and maybe volunteering myself to meet with groups and whatnot, that somebody's like, hey, I know a group over here that would love to hear what you know about featherweights. And so it started little and grew really quickly. You'll start building your process. You're going to keep track of your customers and their notes, all of those things. Before you start really getting a flood of customers, you want to have some type of system in place so that you're not feeling very frazzled and overwhelmed. You want to be able to focus more on the machine work than the business side. You'll start organizing your legal business. So meaning looking at taxes, what you have to pay and how that works, looking for any incentives. There are some areas, especially areas that have deep poverty issues, that you can get grants because you are offering a valuable service to your community. I have one lady that lives in the Bronx actually, and said that they're kind of in a desert where they don't have anybody. And a lot of these people rely on their machines in the service industry for a living. So she actually was given a grant. I don't remember anything about what the grant was, but she was given a grant to help start up her business. And then stage 4 is scaling and beyond, which is kind of the indefinite finish to this. At this stage, you will already determine the right amount of business to balance your revenue and your income needs. So I think the biggest question I get for those of you looking at retirement income that really don't want another 40-hour work week, that want to be able to travel, you'll be able to decide how much you can do and when you can do it. That's the beautiful thing about this business, is you have the power to say no. Annette, no, it's not Annette. Who's the Genome tech? She's such a good friend of ours too. My brain just went blank. She was in our retreat and coming. Anyway,
Amy?
No, not Amy. We do have someone that works for a dealer. I know, over the side. I know, I can see her face, but she works for a dealer, for a Genome dealer. But she's not she is factory trained, but like I've said before, they kind of gave her the warranty stuff, but she needed her foundation. And she was really, really overwhelmed when we met in person almost 2 years ago. And she said, how do I manage this? Because I hate saying no to people. So we worked out a system where she started a wait list. So instead of having to keep an inventory on everybody's machines, she has a wait list. And when the name comes up on the wait list, she calls them and says, hey, it's time. So when she needs to take a 4-week vacation, she can, because they're on a wait list and there's no promise on when it's going to come up. So we have a lot of ways to help you mitigate so that you're not always feeling like, well, I'd like to take a vacation, but I can't say to my customers. That's one thing I really missed about my early days versus having a shop, is that with a shop, there was no chance. We took no vacations whatsoever. Melanie, yes, Melanie. Thank you, Pat. Yes, Melanie is a gem too, and she hasn't been joining us because she is buried in work and absolutely loves what she does. So again, you're not going to have to work 40 hours a week. You can do 5 machines a week. You can do 2 a week. You get to determine how much you do. You're going to be able to offer more skills. We do have our timing adjustment program rolling out and our Surger program, so that if you want to add those to your list of services, that does make you more valuable, but not everybody's going to want to do that. As a reminder, the current programs we have are all I had for my first 6 or 7 years. A part of me wishes that I would have just stuck with that and stayed with those, but we are rolling out those programs for you to have. And then when you get into stage 4, your business should be fully legal and operational, meaning you have filed all your paperwork at the state, you have your tax license established, and that you are on top of all the things you need to be filing each year. All right. Do I have any questions before I do this?
All right. I've got a few for you.
Okay.
All right. Will this program continue on Fridays at the same time?
Yes. Yes, it'll just be inside the Facebook group, though. This will not be on YouTube anymore. What we can do for people that are like, I'd rather watch on YouTube. When we post the replay right after, we can do it as an unlisted and share the link, but it will not be on my public YouTube page. But we are doing this every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Can we explore that? Because I do believe there is a way to make it to where only people who are members can access this, and while it's live.
Not whenever I'm doing it, because, well, it depends on how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to explore.
Yeah.
I do ask that you all give us a little grace while we sort out some bugs, because again, this is way different. I think it's going to be easy. There may be a few hiccups along the way, but we're trying to make it as seamless and easy as possible. The beautiful thing about the Facebook group is whenever we do a call, there'll be a link in there. It'll be real easy. So it's not as confusing as when we do the extra calls.
Another one. Sure. Can you upgrade your subscription after starting? I'm assuming that means like if you join monthly and decide you're going to go ahead and just pay for the full year.
Yes, we can definitely do that.
Can you do that and work it out?
Okay. Yeah, if you guys know us at all, we're very flexible. None of this is about the money for us. We do have to do that in order with all the things that we're building and the time and the materials that are going into it. That will cover all of our costs. And we will, again, be hiring some people, hopefully in our programs, that want to contribute to monitor groups for us and help us out. But yeah, we're always leave it flexible for you to upgrade. Am I good?
Yeah, some of these others are more operational type stuff.
Yeah, we'll wait for
I don't
those.
think I'm gonna answer
No,
Okay.
we're going to try and keep this a little bit more brief tonight because it's a lot. All right, so enrollment info. So Paul's going to paste the link into the chat. And again, this is what it's going to look like on the page. There's a whole informational page. It kind of briefly goes over what I just did, but you can see we have our what?
I can do it on Facebook. Can't do it on
Oh
YouTube.
yes. Okay. Well, it's easy. It's going to be on the front page right after we finish this call anyway. So there will be a link for business school, and there's already, I think, up in the menu. If you go to sewingdockacademy.com, up in the header menu, there's a business school link, and it's going to have it in there. So you're going to see that you got the 4 options here, and then I'll mention the incentives here. And as far as next week, so lessons are going to start appearing pretty rapidly by next week. I like going forward, it's going to be on Mondays that I release the lessons. Probably for this first month, I really want to get a whole lot of lessons in there to get things going. I know a lot of you have already started on this path and are really anxious for these things. So next week, though, while we're getting acclimated with each other, they're going to be appearing all week, not just on Monday. We will still do an accountability post just to get ourselves onto a schedule. I'm going to keep the state. This document right here is sort of evolving all the time. So I'm going to put my copy in there, and as it gets updated, it will keep going in there. A lot of that depends on feedback from you guys. When you tell us these are the things that I feel there's a gap, there's something missing, and we can sort that out together. Once you enroll, you're immediately going to be given a link. So when you do your enrollment there, your confirmation page is going to have a link to the group. I try to make this happen for Remove Your Covers and Vintage Sewing Machine Mastering. When you enroll in this program, you have to answer the 3 membership questions. It's so vital in this one because we have people that are joining that are not part of our Sewing Doc service programs yet. So I don't have a way to verify if you're using an alias or a name that's different than what was processed through your subscription. I have no way of matching those up. So I don't even think it's going to let you do anything. I made them mandatory, but Facebook is really weird like that. So there's 3 very simple questions on there. Just make sure that you answer them, especially the email one. And then you're going to be accepted into the group. So it's going to be like any other group. You're going to submit your request to join. And then as soon as Paul or I can get to it to verify it, then you're going to be in the group. We will watch this like a hawk to make sure we can get you in there. We are going to host industry night inside the group next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get back on track with actual lessons. The replays are going to live forever in there. So as long as you have a membership in the group, you're always going to have access to the past calls. And we will extract things from those Q&As and things that we do on Fridays, and that will become part of the curriculum as well. The first thing you're going to see when you get in there, I think, besides the welcome and all those good things, we do have a poll in the group about how you prefer that we host our Friday nights. If you've been in our Vintage Sewing Machine Mastery program, our extra, we really love that we do it over Zoom and it feels like a community. And that's because we can see, for those of you that choose to have a camera on, we can see your face too. Like, I hate talking into the nether because there's so many of you we haven't met yet and like through face-to-face. So we would prefer to do this through Zoom. It would be a lot easier than the extra program. Every week we will have a link in there ready to go. So all you have to do is click the link. The downside is you would have to use Zoom. So we're going to ask you, would you prefer to use Zoom to do just like we do here, where you're just communicating through the chat, or if you don't have a preference? So whichever you feel most comfortable with, whatever the majority says is what we'll go with and we'll try. All right, that's all I have, I think. Let me stop sharing here. And while we're waiting for any, let's see. No, Anne's asking if they will, when you'll be notified, you're just going to know every Monday the lessons will be in there. Next week is just going to be across the board. There's not going to be anything in Zindler for this program at all. And that's because it includes so many people that are not in our programs. I don't know who gave me the angry face, but I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see. Kat said this may have been asked already, but will things continue to be recorded in case? Oh, yes, always. We do everything in every program, anything we've ever done. We will always record and archive. So, hey, Jennifer from St. Louis. But yes, we do archive everything so that everything will be there. We're getting lots of votes for Zoom already. Let's see. Oh, yes, Catherine. Hi, Catherine. I haven't heard from you in a while. Catherine's asking if we still have our ambulance. Yes, unfortunately, it's still in Georgia with our sewing machines. I would like to think that at the end of 2024 and 2025, we will be able to have the ambulance with all the necessary things it needs. It does need to repair, but we also need to do what they call bulletproofing the engine, which is not cheap. And we are doing a lot of what we're doing here in the future, a ways off in the future. We are working on building franchising opportunities as well. So a lot of these things will roll into that for those of you that are interested in that option, but our ambulance will be a vital part of building an alternative business to brick and mortar. You're never going to hear me advocate for brick and mortar unless you're either sharing rent with somebody or renting a small space from somebody. But as far as taking on a full shop space like we ever did, I will never recommend and put you guys through that hell. So our ambulance would be key in working on, mobile businesses and things like that. Let's see, am I missing anything else you have?
Well, there was some, like I said, there was one about moving to a dedicated space.
Those are things we'll cover in depth because those are pretty long conversations. But we do, there's a lot of options in that. It'll depend on what options you have in your area, but that's what it'll be good. So whenever somebody offers you, a deal, and I'm not an expert, but if you want, this group will be great to run ideas by and make sure it sounds good, because sometimes when it sounds too good to be true, it is. And sometimes they're honest offers. So we'd be happy to help you muddle through that as best we can. While we're here, why don't you show what some of our product that we used to have?
All right.
Move over here.
So as Andy said, we used to have a laser business and a sublimation business, and we did custom all kinds of things, even did some powder coating. But so some of the things that we did that were more sewing related, and this is just to kind of give you an example, because I think you had said that we were going to do some branded items, but we've got,
these are not branded. These are just
these
designs
are not
we
branded.
had done.
These were just some kind of generic little designs that we did. So there was that one. So these are full color designs, so it won't matter.
These were very popular.
Yeah, that was good. We had a shirt with that on it too.
And that was one of your actual seam rippers.
Yeah, and then we've got the one that looks like a spool of Gutermann thread, which I think that one would be kind of cool to have a logo in the middle of that as well. And then we have these, and this one's pink. They come in several different colors. But these you can laser engrave, and then it is, I think it's black underneath. So it's a whatever color cup with a white interior and then a black engraving on it. And then we have travel mugs that are done the same way. And these are ceramic mugs. They have a soft, flexible lid that just snaps on. So we got
these
those.
are just what we were able to uncover today.
Yeah. So I mean,
oh yeah.
And other things we have with the laser, I could also engrave things. And this isn't real leather, because this is leather that is made to be engravable. So it has it's manufactured leather basically, but this is a name tag.
It's vegan leather.
Yeah, it's vegan leather, but it just uses magnets to attach to your shirt, so you can have name tags. We've got business card holders.
I used to carry 3 of those.
I used to have one with, matter of fact, our business name for the laser and everything, I think, was Lasting Impressions, and I had one with my logo engraved on it here. So we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got coasters in lots of different colors. So,
but we are
we're not trying to say anything. I'm just kind of giving you guys ideas if there's anything that might be interested in. This is a bracelet you can engrave.
But we are going to do a giveaway.
We also got flasks.
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah. Which actually, Maddie with the Badass Quilter Society used to do a ton of flasks with us back in the day, which really fits her. But the whole point of that is we are going to do a giveaway every month, and you can decide if you want something with your name on it or your logo or whatever you want on it, as opposed to Sewing Doc Academy on it. And one thing I did forget to mention, I'm not going to be ready to do this probably till fall, but maybe even sooner. But I'm going to be able to offer, for those of you that feel like technology is overwhelming, we'll be able to offer some low cost options. If you need designs for your postcards or flyers or anything, or a simple 2-page website, those are some things I'm happy to do for you to keep your costs low and make it easy for you to maintain. So those are a lot of things that I'm really thrilled, because these are things I've been thinking about for probably 5 or 6 years at this point, and to have it come to fruition and know that you guys are wanting to build your businesses. Like I said, I get so many emails from people in communities. A lot of them are just areas we don't have any of you guys yet, that are just so desperate for service, that I really feel like that you'll find your way in this. I promise. Oh yeah, Dawn said the bracelet could also be a good strap to control things like cords and irons. Why have we not thought about that?
I know that would be
we should do that right here on my stupid microphone.
No kidding. Yeah, because it'll go to that small. So.
And then Ann said, I'd like to have magnets so we could give after maintenance with my names and numbers. So yeah, so those are things. I have all kinds of resources, even for printing, depending on your investment and all that good stuff. Yes. So somebody's asking about long arm. So yes and no. We don't have a very specific curriculum, and I highly doubt that I will have the capacity to make an actual long arm program, because I don't have access to long arms in that capacity. As you know, it's the reason the holdup we have on our Surger program is because I have to be able to have my hands on many different Surgers to take videos, do pictures, and form that curriculum. That's difficult enough. It's going to be even harder with long arms. But long arms are just big sewing machines on wheels and on a frame. So people that are in remove your covers, especially, are applying that to long arms. What I would recommend, Spike has done it. I know Spike's in here. Spike went to his local quilt shop. It's a handy quilter dealer. If you can find someone, even not in your immediate area, I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but go and get the training if you can through a handy quilter dealer. Spike will probably attest to this. They're not all exactly the same, but they're big sewing machines. Once you get that training on one long arm, you would definitely have the credibility to be able to do pretty much any long arm outside of the computers and things. So, but even if you don't go and do that handy quilter training, you can apply what's in our program, especially if you know some people that you can kind of barter with and say, hey, I'd be happy if you let me learn on your machine. Then that works for everybody. So it sounds like you have plenty of people that you might be able to make that deal with. It's a really good question. Okay, let's see. Do we have any others that I missed?
I think so. I haven't seen anything new pop in.
Okay. Yeah, recorded. I'm just making sure, because sometimes they come through in a weird order.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's good. Okay. Well, the link is up there again. So when I open my mom's,
will there ever be an industrial machine course?
Actually, we have not even had a chance to post pictures or anything yet. And so Kim's asking about handy. I'm sorry, I'll back up here for a minute, because we got a few at one time. Kim said you own a handy quilter. It might, but I really think they're like everyone else, where they kind of require you to be attached to a dealer somehow. I would definitely get in touch with them. I don't know how you could word that, but I don't think it hurts to ask and let them know. Especially if you don't have someone in your area, or they're overwhelmed. I would definitely ask them. I don't know. I actually don't remember their policy on that.
I don't either.
But it would be worth it to ask.
Yeah.
Amy said, will there ever be an industrial machine course? Yes, kind of. We are not industrial experts. So, however, we did just acquire our first industrial machine ever, finally. Somebody in my little hometown across the river here tagged me in a post and said, look, someone's trying to get rid of this industrial. I think it was used for upholstery at one time. It's a Singer with a servo motor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in great condition. I think it's a clutch motor. But anyway, it's in good condition, has a little bit of rust on it. Doesn't sound like it's been used a lot. We did that intentionally. We are collecting some industrials so that we could at least translate what we know in, and it's not a big leap on the vintage ones. On the modern ones, highly doubt it. If you go out and buy a Juki that's within the last 10 years, it's like buying a brand new car where you can't even get into anything. So when it comes to vintage, yes. What? Am I right?
I guess. I don't know.
But yes, so we are working on, yes, and thank you, Alice, and congratulations on our first industrial. I'm very proud of us. I'm happy that we were able to get it. She wanted to give it to us, and I just could not in good conscience. It belonged to her dad. So I gave her $100 cash. because I just felt like it was the right thing to do. And they were so nice about it. But we are working on adding some components. And what I'd really like, if anybody knows of any industrial experts that would actually like to come teach with us, please refer people to us, because that's what would be ideal so that we can stay in our lane. I don't mind branching out, but that's definitely not our area of expertise. Let's see. Yep, Spike said he works for Handy Quilter and Grace Long Arms after the training. On it. Sorry. Yeah. My thing's moving. Pat says she uses daily. So in case you didn't know, this is an actual picture of one of Paul's seam rippers. He was our local seam ripper guy in the Atlanta area for a long time, long before everybody was doing it. He used to turn him on the lathe, and that was a significant part of our income for a long time. And I think Pat had one of the very first seam rippers he probably ever made. And then let's see. Aaron said, I have a 1953 Singer and it works a lot like a home. Yeah, they are. That's what I mean. For vintage machines, when you get into certain eras, the lubrications are a little bit different. Some of them have to have like an oil bath. Those are things a little bit beyond my knowledge, because I don't work with things that require you to keep. Oh, Lauren knows a guy.
I saw that.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Lauren. What?
Don't get distracted.
I'm sorry. So yeah, so that's the thing. So the vintage ones will not be that difficult. It's the newer ones. Do you have a network of parts dealer to rebuild machines? Absolutely not. We do have aftermarket resources. We were always very transparent about that. One of the lessons that's going to go in immediately is when I walked through what sewing machine service looks like and what our lane is. When it comes to computer components, major repair and major part replacements, that's not our lane. So I'm not going to have a network. I'm not going to know a dealer. I'm not going to know anyone that's going to be able to sell us all of those crazy parts that everybody wants that you can't get. So I'm very, very, very transparent about that part. Let's see. Yeah, Aaron says hers is on an oil bath, but still easy. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's just a lack of knowledge on my side, because I haven't dealt with a industrial. I'm kind of excited about it, because this looks like a really nice. It's a heavy machine. I have a bruise on my leg from moving it, actually. Mm-hmm. Hi, Virginia. I haven't seen you in a while either. She said a neighbor moved and gave me an industrial Singer her grandmother used for leather. Paul is itching to have a leather machine. Lauren was kind enough to reach out to us about a machine that was for sale a couple hours from her, but we just couldn't logistically figure out how to get it here without her having to store it in her lair for the next year. All right. I think that's all we have, guys. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight. That's right in an hour, which is ideal. So like I said, when you all get enrolled, when you're ready, we're going to start dumping in curriculum on Monday. Sometimes it'll be a whole bunch in one day. Sometimes there'll be days in between. So this is definitely a priority for us, because we are doing paid enrollment on one that allows us to keep it a priority. Machine service is always going to have to come first, but this definitely keeps it on track. Spike said, I jumped in and just started working on industrial machines for local businesses. We're probably going to have Amy on. I don't know if Amy's on tonight, but Amy Winstead did the same. I think I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Amy lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and just started reaching out. Actually, she had people reaching out to her about her cleaners. The cleaners in the alterations business have nobody to even just service their machines. So she is basically trying to beat them off with a stick right now. She's got way more work that she can handle with industrial machines, but she dove right in, and she even said the same thing. Once you start applying what you learn in here to to what you know in vintage, it's not going to be that big of a thing. Liz said, I have a Sailrite LSD1. I have not worked on any industrials at all. So nope. I do know that console and Sailrites are not terribly difficult. Those are very much like vintage machines. And Kim's asking, enrolled in what? Okay, so this is so Industrial Night is moving. This is moving into our paid program. So the link is in the chat there. I don't know if she's on Facebook. Is it?
She's on Facebook. I can repost.
Oh, actually, I have a little banner here. I forgot that I have. Look at that.
Oh, there you go.
So that's so yeah, you get 30 days for free, and then it's $7 a month after that. And that just covers our overhead costs and all of the things it takes to build new materials, our database, and all that good stuff there.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
It just popped up on the thing. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I know that there's at least 2 people that are unhappy that we do have to start charging $7 a month for this, but that really helps us accelerate this. Instead of me dragging this out for 2 years to make it fit in, this helps us have the resources to do this within the next 4 to 6 months. And then we'll spend the rest of the year refining everything and improving it. And we do appreciate, even whenever if you feel like we're missing something or just doing a terrible job at something, please let us know, because we can receive that feedback and we can do our best to make it better. I do ask, again, just a little bit of grace. If you go and enroll in it and there's a bug or something, there is a contact page, because I tested a million times. But as you all know, with technology, things go wonky sometimes. So just please let me know, and just don't be mad and flounce off on me. So thank you guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you for joining us during a holiday week, and we will see you on the other side.
Bye.